Ooh.
Hey y'all, welcome to TikTok. Oh my God, I said
There we go.
first 5 seconds of making mistakes. I'm a little rusty. Welcome to TikTok Live. I've been doing the podcast for like a year now, and we have just launched on StreamYard. So I'm so excited to introduce you to so many of my wonderful friends in this business. And today we have Emma Lilly.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. Yay.
I'm so excited to have you because we have wanted to try to work together for so long, and we're just like never really in the same place.
I know.
So this is wonderful. So Emma,
So.
how are you doing? How's your new year? How's your like getting back to work and everything?
You know what? It's good. Definitely the holidays are always so hard because you like take this big break and then you're like, okay, back to normal life. I feel I've always said this my whole life. January is like the most depressing month that there is because you're like, okay, Halloween and then Thanksgiving and then Christmas and then New Year's and then your January comes around and you're like, and then there's nothing. I mean, there are, but it's not like the big holidays where you're going to go spend with your family. I guess I'm
Right.
looking forward to Valentine's Day.
Well, Valentine's Day for us allows us to kind of start doing fun, creative things
Yes.
again.
Yeah, definitely.
You planning like a big Valentine's Day shoot or anything?
I have started. I'm behind on planning it, but I definitely have little tidbits of ideas. I'm really good at pulling things together at the last minute, which is not a good trait to have. I need to plan out ahead of time, but
But it means you're getting it done. You're
yes.
going to get it done. It's going to come together. And you know what? When you're planning these things, it's like nothing's going to be perfect. It's never going to be exactly what you wanted it to
Oh,
be.
no. Oh.
So last minute, sometimes you get the best stuff out of it.
Yeah, pressure. The pressure makes it amazing.
Right? Oh my gosh. Yeah, listen, I'm a bit of a procrastinator myself.
Yeah.
So I've been talking about relaunching my podcast for a couple months and now it's finally happening. So I feel you.
That's so exciting for you, though.
I love doing it. I love talking to people. I love getting their stories because everybody
Yeah.
got into this like from a different perspective and a different background and all of that.
Yeah,
So
totally.
I would love to know, like, what did you do in your former life?
I actually was a teacher for a long time, a preschool teacher.
I love it. Oh, this is going to be so much fun.
And, actually, before I quit civilian work, I was like, we called it the director. So basically, like the manager of the preschool. So I was like in charge. I was like the youngest preschool director my school had ever had. I
Oh,
was
wow.
very head bitch in charge. And, then COVID happened and it really put things in perspective for me. Like, what do I want to do? Am I actually enjoying this or is it just like the first thing that I excelled at? And, I have been posting like little pictures of myself online with no face and people were like super excited. They were like, do you have an OnlyFans? Like, where can I buy more stuff from you? And so I was like, I guess here you go. And that was really how I got started.
I can't believe you were a preschool like educator, but I can totally see that vibe.
Yes.
I absolutely see that. That is wow. But I mean, sometimes it is like we're dealing with children.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We're like have to be very firm but kind. So I can
Yes.
see how your skills translate.
And like a lot of my fans want this like mommy dom treatment from me, and I think preschool teacher to that mommy dom soft but firm is exactly the same.
I was just thinking, I was like, I understand, especially with that early childhood education age, kids are accidentally calling you mommy in the classroom and they're calling you daddy. And like it just happens, right?
Yeah.
Kids are like, oh, you're really nice to me and I love you. So you're mommy. So I'm like, you were used to that before you even
Honestly, yeah, and it doesn't happen as much as you think it does, but it's always really cute because they're like, "Mommy, I mean, Miss Emma, I mean," and they're so embarrassed, and it's so funny. It's so good.
It's just like with a fan or a guy who's like, mommy. I'm like, what? The first time a man called me mommy, I was like, oh, oh, and this was like in my personal life. And I was just like,
Oh.
I'm a woman of a certain age and you're younger than me. And like, we didn't talk about that before he said it. He just said it in the moment. And I was like, and he's like, is that okay? I was like, sure. Okay. I didn't know how to like process it in that moment.
Yeah, that's unexpected. I definitely felt the same way when a fan first called me mommy, especially I started at like 25, so I was not mommy age. So it used to be really uncomfortable for me. But I've definitely grown to like really love it. I mean, obviously if you look at my stuff, I have mommy this and mommy that. So
No, I'm with you. I am of mommy age for sure. And it was surprising the first time people started doing it. It was like, oh, right, this is a thing. And I got to get used to this thing. But even like, it's funny, like going to the events that we go to, even the younger women will be like, mommy, sure, mommy. And, like, they do it in like a playful way. And I'm
yes.
like, name. And I'm like, okay, all right, sweetie. Okay, fine.
And some people just have that mommy energy too. Like they know you're going to take care of them. Like you're a safe space. And so that's kind of a compliment, right?
I guess, well, I think the safe space thing is interesting because it's definitely part of our jobs
Yes.
to provide that safe environment to explore some
Mm-hmm.
disease. So, how long have you been doing this? First of all, that's a good question.
So I officially started, I would say January 2020. I was dabbling in the past, but I really put my whole self into it January 2020, which is great because it gave me a job during the pandemic.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you on that. I started, I guess June 2020. I started because
Oh, wow. I didn't know it was that recent. That's crazy.
It was because again, pandemic life. I had just moved to Austin and had like 4 friends, and it's a pandemic, and then got laid off from my marketing job where I actually worked in education, which was kind of funny.
That's so funny.
Ed tech startup. It was, wild, wild times. And then, and after a couple months of like being bored at home, I was like, what am I doing with myself? Like, I am bored.
Right.
Clearly I'm not getting a job anytime soon. And I kept hearing about, all these fan platforms. I'm like, well, what is this? I can do this. I know marketing. I know social media. So, but I didn't take it seriously probably until like 6 months ago, I want to say, is when I really, a year ago when I signed with an agency. And then I really was like, this is what I'm focusing everything on right now.
That is crazy, Erica. I like look at your stuff and I'm like, wow, she's been doing this for so long. But it makes sense that you have this like marketing background because I feel like you're like amazing at social media. I want to like study you.
Oh, thank you. Well, you can always ask me questions. I am happy. I definitely learned a lot of tricks and I asked a lot of questions, and it is a big part of our jobs for sure. Like,
oh my God, yes.
You just have to be comfortable with it. And I mean, there's so many rules to follow. I know. I'm like, poor you get deleted. I'm like, oh.
I just had my first deletion, my Instagram deletion in December, and it was like devastating. I'd never gotten kicked off a platform before. So it was like a baby SW moment.
Oh, the first time it happened to me was like a year ago. It was literally like Christmas Eve too. I woke up and I'm like,
yeah,
it's gone. What am I gonna do? So, but you have to, you know what? I got a friend on the inside over there at that, place.
That's how you do it. That's how you have to do it because they do not care.
So I ask a lot of questions, and I'll send an Instagram reel, and I'll be like, this isn't okay, right? Like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I swear to God, there's one, I'll have to send it to you so you can see it. It was like this woman wearing like a pearl G-string.
Oh my God.
So, pretty much everything is exposed in the front. First of all, I was like, that's a lot of confidence to post that on Instagram.
On Instagram, yeah.
But I'm like, you can clearly see things. And I said it to my friend, she's like, hell no, this is so not okay. A pearl G-string is like the only thing this person's wearing. And I was just like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here we are just trying to be curvy plus size ladies.
Exactly. Well, I will say I definitely I deserved my deletion. I did.
A little too comfortable.
I got too comfortable. I got too confident. I was like, I've had it for 3 years. Nothing's happened. And so I posted this like sling bikini that just covered barely. And they were like, no, goodbye.
Oh God, I look at those things and I'm just like, I don't see how this would work.
Oh, it doesn't. You have to like, you just have to click, timer, put it back on right, and then freeze.
Oh my God. Okay, well, good for you for trying. But that's the kind of stuff where I'm like, no. And fans ask for that. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me?
You definitely can't walk around like video with that on is not a thing. It's a picture thing only.
Right. Oh gosh, I can't, like, there's so many things I wish I could do, but I know that there's such a bias in the social media platforms of our body type versus I'm just gonna say it's skinny women. That I'm like, I'm not even gonna try because I know I'm gonna get in trouble for it and it's not worth losing my accounts, which is the thing I always say to people, like, is posting that one thing really worth losing your account over?
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
it's just not fair. I wish we could do so many more fun things.
I know there definitely is a bias. And I like part of me understands that like when you don't have the curves, it's like there's less. I don't know. I don't understand because they're just bodies. I honestly think like everybody, if we all walked around naked, we would just be like way less excited about what's going on under the clothes. So like I get that people are like offended by seeing cleavage and whatever, but I just think it's like a them problem and not a society at large problem.
I agree. I think being in the US, we definitely have a more conservative mindset about bodies. But one thing I will say, and I would love to hear how kind of you feel about it, is like, I had some confidence before I did this, but the amount of confidence I have now after doing this, oh my God.
Yes.
Like, I feel so confident in my body and knowing that there's plenty of people out there that are into what I have going on. And like, they don't care about the cellulite or the rolls or whatever's going on. But I was really surprised at like how much more confident I feel now after like 2 years into this.
Right. Oh, definitely. Like, I was never somebody who was showing off my body. Like, for the first 25 years of my life, it was like neck down was covered. I did not find I didn't think I was attractive. I was just like, I'm just me. I'm just a teacher girl, doing my thing. And I was raised really religiously too. So it wasn't, it was one of the, so we'll get into that, I'm sure.
That in a minute. Okay.
But just getting online and seeing like the positive response to me and my body, and like I get told I'm not big enough sometimes, you know? So
yes. Oh my God. Yes. All the time.
So my own view of myself before was just like completely not true. The phrase beauty is in the eye of the beholder is like so accurate. I cannot overstate it enough. It does not matter what I think about myself. It matters what the masses think about me, you know?
Right. And it's like, oh my God, I totally feel you on that, because even in my personal life and dating and things, when I realized I'm at this weird in between, or I'm too fat for guys that like fit skinny girls.
Yeah.
I'm not big enough for guys that are into like real BBWs. Yeah. And like having that kind of like almost a little bit of like soul crushing moment of like, it's so weird to be like, I'm not fat enough for you. It's such a weird thing. But then in this world that we're in, I'm like, yeah, like people told me like you're not big enough, or other women will look at me and I'll be like, you're not a BBW.
Yeah, I know. It's like, well, I mean, my doctor would disagree with you.
I am obese, clinically speaking. Oh my God. I use that to my advantage to get my COVID booster early. I'm just going to say.
Oh my gosh, yes, girl.
It's like, I'm obese. Sign me up.
I'll take one. I'll take one right here. Thank you.
Exactly. Oh my God. But yeah, it's so nice to actually talk to someone about this, because there's a lot of women like us where we're not like big BBWs, and we're not normal size models, but there's a lot of men out there who like what we got going on.
Yeah, they like the in between. I think people just like what they don't see. So if somebody has a lot of skinny people in their life, they're like, let me see the big girls. If they have a lot of big girls, they want the really thin girls. So there's always a place for you. You just have to find your people, right?
That's true. And I think we have both done a good job of finding our people.
Yes.
I would love to ask you, do you work with different sized models and different kind of like looks and people that are, like tattooed or whatever the different types of vibes are? Because I have a lot of people say, fans just really like variety.
You know what? Yes, but I have found a lot of the times when I do collaborative work, my fans in particular are like not as interested. They love me to just sit and be by myself and talk to them. I don't even need to take my clothes off. My best-selling videos generally are me just talking, which is so funny. I want to collab with people. I want to, I want to explore the world, but then I'm like, well, do I want to test and travel if I could just sit here and look at you and say your penis is little? Sorry, I don't know if and they like eat it up. I don't. But that being said, I have, black, white, big, little. I do not care. Size of your body, size of your parts. It does not. It doesn't really faze me. It's more about the person themselves and how they respect you, and if they're into the same things as you. I love to work with people and meet new people, because when you are meeting them, you're learning how they do things, and it opens your eyes to like a whole new world of possibilities.
Absolutely. This is definitely a journey. I will admit I kind of started doing it with a little bit of a advantage in one part of it. But then when I started meeting other people and seeing how so many people build their business in different ways, and there isn't just a one size fits all, and you really have to explore to figure out what works for you to make the most money. Because a lot of people get caught up in, I've got to go to this event, I've got to do that, I've got to do that. And those things, it's expensive.
Yes.
It is so expensive. And you're like, well, if I'm like, 50% of my profit is going back to travel and all of this, then I'm like, that doesn't really make sense sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. So you have to do that kind of stuff because it's what you enjoy, and not because it's what knowing that it's going to come back to you, which I think everything you do comes back to you. It might just not be immediately apparent. I have never traveled and been like, that was a total loss. I've always learned something or met somebody. And you are so right about there is no one size fits all, which is the beauty of this industry, but also like part of the difficulty too, because sometimes you're like, I wish there was just a formula I could follow.
I know what I would recommend to people now if they were getting started, and I would ask a very clear question upfront to people. It'd be like, do you want to be, I'm not sure if I can say the word, but I'm going to say it and we'll just see what happens. But do you want to be a porn star?
Yeah.
Because if you want to be a porn star, there's a path for that.
Right.
If you're like, I'm not sure if that's the right option for me, and you want to go down this road of like, I love social media and I want to be an influencer and I want to do OnlyFans and maybe do some of the other sites, I think there's a slightly different path for that. Like, are porn stars social media influencers now? Yes. And I follow them all because I can learn something from them. But I think there's a big difference in making a decision of like, I'm going to be one of those like hot Instagram girls who does OnlyFans versus I'm going to be a hardcore porn star.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And they both are a lot of work in just completely different ways, I think.
Right. I completely agree with you on that. When I hear the things that ladies do to prepare for like real shooting, like real
Yeah.
Angela White in particular, I learned a lot of things from watching an interview with her. That's
Oh,
all.
really? I would love to watch that. I'm gonna have to ask you to send me a link, girl.
Apparently, I don't know what the anus is a magical muscle that stretches more than your other lady parts do, and I was
Oh,
just
yeah.
oh, I didn't know that. I mean, that's new information, and the things that people do. I'm like, oh god, that seems like a lot of work. It's a lot of
Oh
work.
my gosh, yes, the prep that goes into it is, like, insanity.
Now you've done some professional level work.
I have. I enjoy it a lot. I don't know if I would be able to be the type of person that's, like, always in the studio because like you said, it's a lot of work,
Mhm.
and somebody said this at XBiz last year that it is sexual exercise to be doing studio work. You are performing, but you're like an athlete in a way. It is physically intensive. It is hours of just using all of your muscles that you don't usually use in your regular everyday life.
I kind of agree with that. I've never shot for a studio in that setting.
Mhm.
But I will say after going to, the content events that we go to,
Right.
I'm physically exhausted for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I'm doing a lot more yoga than I normally do.
Good for you. Good for you.
I'm like waking up every morning, be like, okay, before I like get into shoot mode, got to do some stretches, got to
Yeah.
like do just a little bit of something to get ready.
I think that is such an important suggestion to make is to when you're starting out, do something that helps you connect with your body. Like I and do something that's fun. Like you like yoga, which is amazing. I wish I could be a yoga person.
This is for everybody. Oh, advocate for yoga being free because back pain, girl.
Yes, I know. Trust. Maybe we should get together after this and I will get some yoga tips from you.
I go live on TikTok and I do my little
You
yoga
do?
routine,
Oh my
and
god.
I'm like, I am not an expert. I'm just a lady that has back pain.
I need to go and watch your TikTok lives and do yoga with you. That sounds perfect.
Yes, we can totally do that. I would love to that. Or we can come back and do this. I'll be like, this is my little routine. And there's little
Ah.
of yeah, it's for back pain and definitely, leg stretching for sure. But
Yeah,
okay.
definitely.
We got a little something
I
there.
started out and like I said, I was never somebody who was like consciously trying to be sexy before. So I was like, I don't really know what to do with my body. So I did some burlesque classes, and burlesque is it's so beginner friendly because you don't need to be able to dance. You don't need to be
Right.
able to really do anything. It just is about getting that confidence and feeling yourself and feeling the music, and it was so it was so helpful for me, and so I think everybody should be doing some sort of exercise or dance or something to really get in touch with their body.
Right. And that makes sense. I think that, to your point, there is a learning curve with yourself
Mhm.
for doing this. And I've kind of felt the same way. I was like, I'd had the boyfriends that were like, so into your body and were
Oh,
like,
of course.
oh, beautiful. And so a little bit of you're like, well, this guy liked this. I'll try this and see
Mhm.
how it works. But I'm like, it took me I mean, I don't know if this is fast or not, but it took me after like 2 or 3 weeks. It was like, okay, I kind of feel like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I look back on my content from like 2 years ago when I started to now. I'm like, this is so bad. So bad. Like, how did
Yeah.
anyone want to ever, spend money on that?
Oh my god, that is so I feel like every 6 months I look back and I go, "Oh my god, what was I doing?" Like, I
Like,
still feel like I'm learning so much and doing so much better, which is great. I guess you never wanna feel stagnant, but it is cringy. It's like looking back at your middle school yearbook or something.
And it's absolutely. I'm a stickler about lighting. Lighting is definitely a key thing
Yeah.
for me. And when I work with people who like don't understand why lighting is so important, I'm like, I can't with you. Like,
No.
about this later. Lighting is your best friend or your worst enemy.
Yes, yeah. I am also a lighting person. It's a little dark right now. Don't judge. Don't judge.
You look good. Trust me. If you were too dark, I would be like,
You would have told me.
we got it. But I had faith in you. I was like, she's going to know what to look like on a podcast interview. I don't think I got to do a prep with her.
That makes me so happy. Thank you so much. I'm a Virgo and a perfectionist, so
no, she's good. I'm not going to have to worry about
that
her.
is so funny.
Man, lighting is like, that's the thing where I'm like, oh, good Lord, you people just don't understand. And I'm grateful to, have worked in the entertainment world before. So I like I knew before, but then working with your own body in that environment,
Yeah.
like, this looks good, this doesn't look good.
It's hard too if you're an independent creator like us and it's your first time setting up lights. It doesn't really make sense what you have to do with the lights to look good on camera.
Yeah.
To the layperson. They're like, wait, I have to light behind me so that I can look good in front of me? I don't understand. And it's like, yeah.
And like, yeah, lighting is a science. And
yes.
Different colors absorb light in different ways.
Look
and
at you.
Is off of things. And like, you've got to kind of understand some basics of, or people where it's like too much light. And I'm like, what is this shadow? There's way too much shadow. And I'm like, men are not looking at this the way we're looking at this.
Oh, no.
But other creators are like, these are the little things to be like, if you want to be at, like our kind of level, these are things you do need to sort of learn to work around and understand to make better content.
Definitely. I think you just have to go into like every day being like, okay, what can I improve? What can I learn? Which is hard to do.
Yeah.
You're in the mood to criticize your own work and do things differently, but it's so worth it to be able to be like, I love these posts on socials where you go, this is a picture from me 2 years ago, and this is a picture now, and just like everything about it technically is so much better. It's such a great feeling.
Yeah, it is. So thinking about like, where we've come from and like looking ahead, do you see yourself staying in this career path for a while? Or do you ever think about going back to education or doing something entirely different?
F no, girl. I'm trying not to cuss on this podcast, but no. Okay. I will never, ever, ever be able to go back to civilian work ever again. I have been so freaking spoiled. I mean, it is like, this job is a dream for me. People have this misconception that we are like forced into this position and treated poorly and all of this, but I felt way more like exploited, I guess, working my like minimum wage jobs, and especially in education. People want from you and they want from you and they want from you, and they don't give back to you. You're underpaid, you're overworked. If I could have skipped all of that and gone straight into this line of work, I would do it 100 times over.
Wow, I know. When I look back and I'm like, how much money did I spend on grad school?
Yeah. Oh my God, I can't imagine. But the success that you have now is thanks to that,
It is. It's all part of your journey. It absolutely is.
I think working, I worked at Wendy's. I worked when I lived in Florida, Publix for my Southern people, Publix in the deli wearing a hairnet every day. And then I worked with kids.
Lady, a baby teacher. Oh my God.
And those experiences, one, taught me a lot about customer service, which is a huge part of this job.
Absolutely.
And two, it keeps you humble. I definitely now have the fortune to wake up and have people like fawning over me. But I remember what it was like to go and slice meat and put chickens on a rotisserie every day,
Right. I was terrible at food service. I didn't do it very long. But yeah, I have definitely other stories we could share for another time of my like, that was a rough job.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, well, I mean, I definitely, when I talk to older women, You know, I'm older than
Mhm.
you, but I've talked to women that are like 50, 60, and they're doing this, and they've either
Yeah.
into it also like mid like a career change, or they've been just always doing it, but now they're online. And I was just like, yeah, I could see myself doing this for another 10 years or so.
Yeah.
It looks like you can still, I'm like, you are gorgeous. You're 59 years old. Oh my
Yes.
God. Like, so I see the opportunity.
I definitely think there's opportunity. I think there's not more older people just simply because they don't wanna do it anymore, you know? I think sometimes you get your money and then you go relax, you know? And
Oh, absolutely. I completely understand that. Well, that's why I wanted to do something like podcast where I'm like, it's a little, I have this other thing that I'm doing
Mhm.
to kind of round everything out. And maybe this becomes, something I can continue to do while doing
Right.
other things. But I know what you mean. I think a lot of people you get burned out, and I feel like you and I could talk forever about all the things
Oh, yeah.
on a day-to-day basis. But yeah, you do need to make sure that this is like have an exit strategy. That's kind of what I would say to people. But like
Definitely.
like if you want to do this, know what the path is for this. And if you don't think you want to do this forever, you just want to do it for a few years and make money, have an exit strategy. What are you going to use that money for? What are you going to invest in? What are
Invest, yes.
yeah, like, are you going to start your own business? Are you going to do something entirely different? Like, just know what that is. Because I'm like you, I don't want to go back to corporate America and
Mm-mm.
slave
No, I don't
away.
think I could have a boss ever again. I very much love being my own boss.
I love the freedom of this too. I'd always wanted to do my own thing, and I just never
Mhm.
really knew what that was. Like, I had got a real estate license at one point. It's like, oh, I'll do real
Yeah.
estate, and that never really kind of took off because I was like still working a job, and then this
Mhm.
was definitely not expected. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really grows up thinking, "I'm gonna be an amateur, content creator," we'll call it.
Yeah, professional amateur. That's what I like to call it. Professional
Yes.
amateur content creator slash influencer slash
Yes.
podcast person
You
slash.
definitely have the influencer thing on lock. I love to see it.
Thank you. I know. I wish that I could do more with it, to be honest. I really do. TikTok, I love TikTok and I hate TikTok
Oh my
so
gosh, yes.
much. It is the one thing I'm like, God, if I had kept my original account, I'd have like 500,000 followers.
Oh my god, I know. I know.
It is absurd. But yeah, the social media part of it is a big part of it for sure. And I think, you come across as a really genuine, kind, nice
Oh.
person. But that's what so many fans want to see that. I'm sure you hear it too. The amount of times that fans are like, you're actually really like sweet. And
Yeah, you're a person, you know?
exactly. And I think there's a fine line between being your truth self and kind of playing a little bit of a character.
Yes.
So, you've got to also think about which one of those you're comfortable doing. Like there's definitely information I do not share about myself
Mhm.
publicly, or I try not to, but I definitely, there are some things where I'm like, oh yeah, this is for the fans. The fans want this, and this is
Right.
because they
It's a
are,
balance.
yes, yes. Surprisingly, like, these are not my biggest asset. The fans are my biggest asset.
Honestly, where would we be without them, you know? And without people just seeing the value in you from when you were nobody. I don't wanna say nobody because everyone is somebody, but, before the following. The fans that I have that have been here the whole time, it's like I love them so much. I really consider them friends. And I have sent my longtime fans money when they had a hard time. Just because it's like you've just been there this whole time when I was with just a little webcam and an iPhone, you know?
Right, right. I know. And I actually think that's really sweet that you do that for your fans.
I don't do it all the time, fans, so don't come in my DMs.
I know, but I do believe in like showing the appreciation, and whether it's like the example I like to give people is like it's like a bartender. You have somebody that comes in a couple nights a week, you buy them back around.
Mhm.
Like that is the kind of customer service relationship I believe in. Like send them a freebie. It keeps people happy. You know, they ask you to make them a video that's 5 minutes. You make it like 8 minutes.
Yes. They don't forget that kind of thing.
No, they don't. Like, and that's the stuff that leads to sort of these longer term fan relationships. Oh, I feel like now I could do a whole series just on like fan relationships.
I know.
Hear from people, but oh, this fan did this for me, or this fan like flew me here, or this or that or the other thing. So I know we have another like special bonus interview we're going to do.
Oh, yes.
So we do need to wrap this portion up so we can get to that. But I did want to ask you, you know, where can fans see you this year? What do you plan on going to?
So I am slowing down on travel, guys, because last year I traveled so much, and then I just did my taxes, and it was like, oh my God, I just spent all of this money on travel. That is insane. But I was traveling like once a month, which is a lot for me. I know for some people in our industry, they are traveling once a week. But
no, I'm with you. For like 6 months, I traveled once a month, and then I was like, I'm not going back to that life because that was hard before in corporate America. Like, no, I'm going to be like a 4 times a year you see me kind of person.
Exactly, girl. So this year I will be at XBiz Miami, which is in May, I believe. And then I will be doing Why Not LA in October.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Exotica New Jersey in October, and I will be doing Exotica DC in December.
In DC, okay. You're saving stuff for the end of the year.
Yeah, well, I'm sure I'll add stuff on because I just can't help myself, but that's what I'm trying to keep it to this year.
No, I think that's great. Yeah, XBiz, I definitely plan on going to. I wanted to go to XBiz LA and AVNs. It was like, could you all talk to each other and like not plan it back to back right after the holidays?
Like, it's way too soon, you know? I could not bring myself to go to the West Coast too. As an East Coast girl, travel to the West Coast is like
it's brutal. You need a buffer day once you like kind of get there. It's a big recovery. No, trust me, I'm with you. From your region, I get it 100%. So I definitely think XBiz Miami for sure. And then I would like to check out an Exotica this year for the first time.
You've never been to Exotica?
I've never been to Exotica. I know. Everybody's like, why don't you go? And I'm just like, well, like, I mean, in my former life, I did do a lot of fan events in the sports world. So I'm like, I know what the chaos is of dealing with fans. So I've kind of avoided it for that reason.
Yeah.
So, but I was actually thinking, it was like, oh, maybe Chicago, because that's, you know, it will have been months before I have done any kind of event. So like maybe Exotica Chicago, maybe, and then I definitely want to do XBiz. And, you know, later on in the year, maybe figure out Why Not LA I should look into. So the thing that kills me, do you want to know a secret?
I do. I'd love to.
The Why Not headquarters, the guys that run it, live in Austin, Texas. They're in Austin.
They do?
Which is where I live.
Oh my God. But like, everything is in LA.
So I'm like, why aren't we doing things in Texas? Like,
I know.
I feel like I need to do a whole episode on like adult related companies that are just in like Texas and Austin, because it's Why Not and it's Fleshlight.
That's crazy.
I know, you wouldn't expect it at all, but they're both in Austin. So I'm like, can't we like do something here?
It would be so much easier and cheaper to do things in Texas. I mean,
it would be good. Dallas is definitely Dallas and Houston. I mean, like Austin's great, don't get me wrong, but I know that like for like people that do major events and conventions and stuff like that, like, Dallas and Houston can be a little easier. But I'm like, come on, why not? Let's get something happening.
Do something. Yes. Oh my God.
I know. Well, this has been fun.
Yeah.
For anyone who's watching this, we're going to move over now to our bonus feature that you can only see on our fan sites. So make sure you follow, subscribe, like, comment, tell us what you think. Please ask us questions, whatever it is that you want to know. We can definitely do this again in the future.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're going to go make our special bonus interview right now. So thanks, y'all.
Thank you.